People, what is happening? Welcome to our very first episode of the Pit Stop Lounge. My name is Jan. With me on the other side is Malcolm. How are you feeling, dude?
I'm alright, thank you, bro. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thanks for thank you for joining me as well for this
Yeah.
podcast, guys. We
Thank you for having me.
yeah yeah same here, man. Listen, guys, we are very excited to be hosting our very own podcast, which happens to be our very first podcast as well,
Facts.
from our side as well. And you
Yes,
may be
sir.
wondering what this podcast is going to be about. Well, as the name implies, the Pit Stop Lounge. When you hear of Pit Stop, you hear of Formula One, and that's going to be the whole point of this podcast. So basically, the Pit Stop Lounge is a podcast dedicated to all things that of Formula One, whether on the racetrack, in the paddock, or outside of both. So basically, we're gonna cover pretty much literally everything that is connected with the motors from the sport, from Grand Prix weekends to latest news, rising stars, or matters outside of racing, like How to Survive, Formula One video games. Me and Malcolm, we're gonna cover literally every single thing about the sport, giving our honest take, our personal take, and take on what is happening from the motorsport we all love and cherish.
Goes away,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah,
With a touch
exactly.
of humor, it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Because with humor, we'll always have to spark the word with a bit of humor as well.
Basically,
Now,
what we're doing today is we're gonna start our first episode by reviewing every team from last season. This is how we're gonna start the first episode because we feel that is the only right way to start off our very first episode on the podcast.
yeah, I
What do you
agree.
reckon, Ren?
Yeah, I agree because obviously right now, it's pretty off season. We're still only a month away from our season opener in Bahrain,
Yes,
so
sir.
we're now pretty much getting into our real business of the season as well. Where today, for example, we've got our first launch of one of the brand new teams, which is going to be which is Haas. They've just released their first car, and the others will follow suit in the following weeks in the following weeks to come. So today, what we're going to do is, as Malcolm we're going to pretty much review every single team's performance. We're gonna rank our way up to the table, starting with Haas, who got the lowest amount of points, and finishing all the way up to Red Bull, who got the highest points and pretty much dominating literally everything. Literally
Made
dominating
it
literally
made it
everything.
made the season boring as hell. I want to
Yeah, it
get
was.
Red Bull out the way, bro. I want to get them out the way as quick as possible. But we'll start from bottom to top. I don't hate
Yeah.
Red Bull, by the way. I don't hate them, and I don't hate
No,
Max
no, not me.
Verstappen.
But unfortunately,
It's
we're
just
just.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah,
We'll get
exactly,
to
man,
that.
exactly. And besides of that, guys, we're also going to cover the latest news that obviously the latest news that has hit the Formula One scene lately. Which until yesterday
The whole
there was only
world.
just one. There was only just the Mario Andretti news. But
Just
yesterday the world was completely shocked by what happened to a certain driver that has maybe won a couple of world titles. But again, we will get into that very later on in the video, later on in the episode. Excuse me about that.
and I can only assume that you all know what it is.
Yeah, we all know that.
You and your respective grandmothers, you know what it's about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
You
the whole
know.
the whole world knows about it, man.
Everybody knows about it.
The whole world knows about it. But anyways,
Let's start off with Haas. Bottom to
yeah,
top. Let's
exactly.
start off with Haas. So, Haas, yeah. Haas. What's there to say about Haas? Gunther Steiner is now gone. And now they have Ayao Kamatsu or whoever he is, who was basically Gunther Steiner's right hand man, who is now replacing Gunther Steiner. Basically, best result for Haas this season, 7th in Australia by Nico Hulkenberg. The rest, they had 12 points in total, finishing dead last. Haas have been absolutely atrocious as per usual. Like, when was the last time they really were, let's say, competing with the midfield? When was the last time they did that? I forgot, honestly. I forgot. So, with Haas, it's just another appalling season, and I'm expecting another appalling season as well from Haas.
Yeah, actually, I agree with I obviously agree with Haas. For me, if I'm gonna have to come up with a statement, hang on a minute, guys.
Basically, what I was saying is Haas, best finish in the season, 7th in Australia by Nico Hulkenberg, 12 points in total all season long. the main reason with the car they were suffering with tire degradation.
Yeah.
The body weight of the car was suffering. The tires were suffering because of the body. So
Mhm.
basically, they were really, really struggling. Nico Hulkenberg even one point in the season said that he was really disappointed with the progress of the Haas team. And Nico Hulkenberg is someone who tried his absolute best, along with, of course, Kevin Magnussen. But there's such a lack of improvement within the team, and they can blame the team boss, they can blame the engineers, but the real problem really surrounds its owner, Gene Haas.
Yeah, I agree.
So as long as Gene Haas tries to is not investing in the team, Haas is going to stay at the bottom.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. Yeah, I think with the case of Haas, it's same shit, different season.
Exactly.
We're seeing literally a team that's going absolutely nowhere in direction. And it's pretty much more of the same that happened in the previous seasons, and it's a shame because you've got two really talented drivers there with with specifically Nico Hulkenberg, who's been given sort of a another chance within the team as well. And now it's even worse because Gunther Steiner has left the team for good. So you're pretty much lost one of the spine of the spine of the team pretty much as well.
They practically lost all their money by firing Gunther Steiner. They lost all their money
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Gunther Steiner was the face of Haas. Gunther Steiner was the reason
Mhm.
Haas were getting so much coverage in Drive to Survive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, but the thing is, we're not going to. I mean, if we're gonna base this on Drive to Survive, you're gonna base this on the team. I'm gonna be
I
honest.
know, I know, I
Yeah,
know
I'm
that,
gonna.
I know that. But
Mhm,
they were getting so much coverage, and Haas were so loved, and
mhm.
so many fans loved Haas because of Gunther Steiner and wanted Haas to do well. Even
Yeah,
us, even us, we wanted Haas to do well. We do want Haas to do well. We want every team to do well. We don't want to see any team go away, fade away. I mean, apart from Visa Cash App Red Bull, but we'll get to that later.
yeah, we'll get to that
We'll
very
get to
soon,
that later.
actually.
We'll get to that later. But a team like Haas, we want them to do well. But if they're doing stupid decisions like such, especially from Gene Haas himself, what can we do?
Yeah, agree. And
What can Nico Hulkenberg do? What can Kevin Magnussen do? What can now Ayao Kamatsu do?
yeah. To be honest, you can't in a way, and this is gonna where I'm gonna finish off with Haz. Basically, he kind of paid the price that because of poor team performances. But listen, if you're going to remove just Gunther Steiner itself, there needs to be other persons that have to leave the team as well because he only can do such Gunther Steiner.
I can understand the fact that the team has underperformed massively. I can understand that. I mean, finishing
Hmm.
10th and dead last in the standings and just 12 points. Basically, their best finish was 7th in Australia back in round 3. I can understand that. But
Hmm.
how much can you do when its owner, who shares the same name as the team name, barely investing within the team to improve the
No,
car?
no,
What do you
exactly.
want him to do?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
can Gunther Steiner do? What can Nico Hulkenberg, Kevin Magnussen, and everyone in the team do?
And we've seen a similar rhythm as well when it comes to Haas as well because we've seen they perform fast up in qualifying, shit in races. They perform the same in other qualifying, and they perform crap again as well. So yeah, it feels like this was a season that they went absolutely nowhere for Haas. And
Exactly, another
looking
appalling season.
and looking into looking forward for 2024, I don't have the highest hopes for them. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
completely honest because if they don't really fix
yeah.
their if they're not gonna fix their issues straight from the get go, I think they're gonna have another poor season. But obviously, for our predictions, we're gonna get much more into that in future episodes. So,
Yes.
um, if you don't have anything to add, bro, I think we have to give a final verdict, a final rating for them. For me, since they went nowhere and they finished bottom, which is pretty much a step downwards towards last season because they didn't finish rock bottom in the season before, I'm gonna have to give them like a 2 out of 10, man.
A 2? I give him a 1. And
But
with
the
the
two,
removal of Gunter, a 0.
a 0, yeah.
A -0 for Gene Haas.
Um,
That's how much I'd give them.
I'd give them a 2 for the simple reason that they got some points at the very least. It's
But
12 points, yeah, it's better than nothing,
it's
but
it's 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 like giving out points to a charity. That's what Haas did. That's what Haas did. That's what
Yeah,
Haas got. Charity
exactly.
points. That's what they got. 1 out of 10. Nah.
So we'll give them a 1. We'll give Haas a 1. I think. I
1.
think. I
1
think
out
that
of 10.
we're being
They
as
got
honest as.
they got charity points 7. Get out of here. Nah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, not very not very optimistic for us this
Again, I
season.
want Haas to do better, and I hope they do better.
Yeah,
But with
even me,
how
man.
they are ran, nothing but doom and gloom, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Next
All
team.
right, so moving on to probably the most boring team of the fucking grid, man. Alfa Romeo.
Oh,
Well,
oh.
they're not called that
At least,
anymore.
oh, now they're steak. What is it? Well done, medium rare,
Or
rare.
high, or like a high stakes poker game or something like that. But anyways,
Fucking well,
your thoughts on Sauber?
steak is a casino thing going on. I don't
Yeah,
really know. I don't understand the betting side of
probably
it.
one of the worst names ever. But anyways, Alfa Romeo, bro.
Well, Alfa Romeo. I mean, having a driver the experience of Valtteri Bottas. At first, we thought that it's going to help the team. And at first, it did. It really did. It released a lot of stress from Valtteri Bottas being in the shadow of Lewis Hamilton when he was with Mercedes.
Mhm.
But with what we expected, I think it was quite below par. I mean, we did not expect them to get points regularly. But I think it was below par our expectations from Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo, I believe that they are in limbo because as probably everyone knows, they have a new name next this year, and they will eventually evolve into Audi in the coming years as well. Obviously, new management as well. Andreas Seidel and James Key getting into the team as well, who are the former management at McLaren, which is the team I support. I'm proud to
Yes.
say that as well. But I think Alfa Romeo's main aim this season was just to have more stuff. I think it was just to have a little bit more steady in the ship, if that's the word for it.
I don't really know. I mean, the big news regarding Alfa Romeo is really that Audi takeover in 2026.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I can tell you for a fact that's what they're keen. That's what they're most keen on. They want to get out of there, and they're out of there. Alfa Romeo is gone. They're going to be steak, kick, Sauber, kick, steak, whatever they're called. Now that's what they're going to be now. So I think they're really keen on. They're really waiting on 2026 to arrive as soon as possible for Audi to come in.
Yeah, but we still have like we have still 2 more seasons to really get into into that for them. So I think it's going to be a couple seasons of suffering. Probably it's probably going to get worse before it gets better for Sauber. For now,
Exactly.
for stake. So sorry about that.
Exactly. Well, are they gonna improve? I hope. I really hope. And a driver like Valtteri Bottas should help them at least. No disrespect to Guan Yu Zhou. I think Guan Yu
No,
Zhou is
actually,
decent.
no, yeah,
But
actually,
I think Bottas can try to at least keep the ship steady, so to speak.
yeah. You have, as you can say, you have a talented driver there like Valtteri Bottas, who is obviously the number one driver in the team. Again, Joe Guan Yu is he's still obviously his second season in Formula One. He's still he still needs to really adjust into the whole settings as well of the whole sport. But yeah, I mean, I think my thoughts are a little bit similar to Haas, maybe a slightly better because they finished actually just a few points ahead of Haas. They got 16 points, Haas 12. So there really isn't much difference between those two teams as well. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, this is like the least the least I follow the least team I followed from all the teams, to be honest, with Alfa Romeo. So yeah, so looking forward for next season for them. Not really expecting much. But think more of the same. What I think when it comes to Alfa Romeo. What do you think, bro?
I mean, I'm expecting more of the same, really. I'm
Uh
not
huh.
expecting major improvements. I think they're just happy to be there at the moment. And then
Yeah.
they can kick on from 2 seasons on. I think these next 2 seasons, I think they just be like, you know what, we're happy to be here. Can't
Yeah.
wait for 2026 so they can really kickstart their project.
Yeah. Exactly. Hopefully some improvements from Andreas Seidel and James Key, which to be honest, obviously they're the old boys from McLaren as well. So I want them to obviously turn it around, but they need to start showing momentum from this season on, where it's
Yeah,
obviously they're
yeah.
happy. They, as you said before, they're happy to be there. but they need to show something because they can't keep rooting themselves at the bottom of the table
Yeah,
because trouble
I think
ensues then.
I'm not gonna reiterate the same point I did. I think at the moment they're just happy to be there.
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
moment.
Final verdict?
I give him a 2.
Yeah, probably like a 2 or a 3 the most.
I give him a 2. I give him a 2.
2.5
You know what?
maybe,
You know
man.
what? You know what? Actually, no. Actually, no. I don't want to give him a 2
Mm.
because unlike Haas and their appalling results and stuff, Alfa Romeo, no one expects them to do great. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
be a bit more generous with Alfa Romeo. I'm gonna be a bit more generous,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna give him like a 5. I'm gonna give him a 5.
I'm still sticking to my 3 to be honest because
3
you know
because
second to bottom not great obviously.
I'm gonna go with 5. I'm gonna go with 5. Knowing like how they are, whatever.
So 5, we'll give them a 5.
I'll give them a 5.
Yeah.
Because they don't have much expectation.
Stick
And
with that.
they just try to stabilize the ship, finishing 9th. I'm gonna give them a 5.
Okie dokie. So up next is Alpha Tauri.
Oh,
Alpha Tauri is up next, the sister team of Red Bull.
oh dear me. Oh dear me.
They've
Actually,
had
is
a
it?
dramatic
Wait,
season, man.
wait a minute. Who's Alpha Tauri again?
Apparently, the sister team of Red Bull, yeah.
Ain't this the same team of Red Bull being called Visa Cash App something now?
Like a fucking
Yo,
credit card system, man.
it reminds me of those days when we had Mastercard Lola.
I mean,
You
yeah,
remember
exactly.
Mastercard Lola? You remember
Yeah,
Mastercard Lola?
yeah,
I mean,
very remember it.
I don't remember it vividly. I don't remember
Yeah,
it
same
vividly,
here. No, same here.
but I know about it, and it's giving me the same vibes. At least
Yeah,
Mastercard Lola made some sense.
yeah.
Visa
And
Cash App Red Bull it makes no sense.
let me tell you, Stake and Visa Cash RB, they must battle it out for probably the worst name
Worst
I've
name in
ever fucking
history.
heard, man.
Worst name in history. They rejected Andretti because it doesn't bring value, but they accepted
Yeah.
Visa Cash App Red Bull name.
Cash is skink, man.
Crazy.
Cash is skink. Cash
Whatever,
is skink.
whatever.
Anyways,
But
Alpha
I'll
Tauri.
call him Alpha Tauri. Whatever. I don't
Yeah.
care. Alpha
It's Baccarat
Tauri.
season as well.
Look, finished P8 in the standings. Finished P8 in the standings. I think their highlight of the year is bringing back Daniel Ricciardo, following the unreasonable in my opinion, of Nick De Vries.
Yeah, with Nick De Vries, he's been given absolutely no chance. I would give him probably till like the end of the season at the very least. But in my opinion, they sacked him far too early.
If he was at Red Bull, I can understand that the same they did with Gasly when he was at Red Bull. They kicked him out in mid-season. But he's in AlphaTauri. What do you want him? What do you expect from him to do?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, he had a fine cameo appearance instead of Latifi when he raced in Monza for Williams, finishing P9, I believe. I forgot. But he finished in the points for sure. He did finish in the points for sure. And we were all happy for Nick De Vries to get a seat in Formula One because we know he's talented. So the fact that they got rid of him mid-season, okay, yes. Appalling results. I get it. But the car plays a part as much as the driver.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was quite upset with seeing Nick De Vries leave like that. But at least they made up for it with the return of Daniel Ricciardo back to the grid, which to the fans' delight, it was very warmly welcomed.
I disagree on that, to be honest.
Why?
No, because I mean, obviously, look, I'm a McLaren fan, so obviously I'm gonna have some different thoughts on Ricciardo because he outperformed. Obviously, before he left,
he gave you your last race win. What do you want about?
Yeah, but yeah.
What do you want about? He gave you your last race win.
But he was outperformed. He was completely outperformed by Norris.
Outperformed, he won a race before him.
He gave us a race win. He gave us a race win, fair enough. But he was slow, man. And it even from last season, he took part in a couple of races before, obviously, his unfortunate accident, and he was still in that McLaren hangover phase, in my opinion.
Okay, I mean when he went from McLaren, went to reserve driver for Red Bull, and then went to AlphaTauri, you mean?
No. In the sense that he was still quite slow in the car, basically. In that sense, I'm talking about.
All right. Yeah, he was slow. He wasn't at his best, of course, no doubt. But I think that's their highlight. That was their highlight. And still, he gave McLaren their last race win, barring Piastri's sprint race win.
Yeah, but then we'll get to that sooner or later
Barring that,
with the
he gave
future.
y'all your last win on Ferrari soil, on Ferrari territory in
Yeah,
Monza, mind you, a 1-2 finish. May I add?
which was a fantastic result for the team as well.
For fuck's sakes, whatever.
Come on, man. That was our first race win in God knows how many years, man.
That is true. That is
In
true.
nine
That's true.
years, bro. In nine
Yeah,
years, man.
that is true. That is true. I'll
We
give
we
you
need
that.
to celebrate. We need to cherish that.
That is true. That is true. Okay, I'll
And
give
for
you
all the
that.
rival
I'll give
teams
you
hold
that.
that as well. But anyways, back to
Whatever. Go
Ricardo.
fuck off, bro. Back to Ricardo. I think that's the main reason. Now, what happened with Ricardo was very unlucky because
Yeah.
he injured
That I
his
agree.
wrist, was out for 5 races, which helped introduce Liam Lawson, which for me he did
Talented driver.
impress. For me, he
Very,
really impressed.
very.
Was he better than Daniel Ricciardo? Not really. Daniel Ricciardo finished P7 in one race. Liam Lawson's best finish was P9. But still, the promise that Liam Lawson showed in those 5 races, he has a bright future in the sport and should be considered to have a seat within one of the teams,
Yeah.
especially the lower teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
And that's why I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't take the AlphaTauri seat for next season. I understand that Ricardo was a fan favorite, and I understand that he still has that talent
Yeah,
for his age. He's not he's quite he's
no
not
doubt.
he's not the youngest driver on the grid, or to be fair.
No
But
doubt.
I would have given Liam Lawson a seat next season at the AlphaTauri seat because there's talent there.
But who do you replace? You replace him with Yuki Tsunoda?
No, for me, I would have replaced Ricardo, but obviously, Ricardo's is obviously going to be considered the favorite rather than Liam Lawson as well. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. It's not my team that I
Yeah, it
support.
is what I mean, it's a boring team, and now it's even more boring. And people are not going to call it Visa Cash App Red Bull. Like
No,
nobody's going to call that. Like
Racing Bulls.
imagine David Croft, yeah, David Croft and Martin Brundle doing the commentary during a race. Now going to turn 13 in the Visa Cash App Red Bull Daniel Ricciardo.
It makes fucking no sense, that name. It makes absolutely no sense, that name. It's
So stupid.
ludicrous. It's so
It's so
fucking ludicrous,
stupid.
man.
It's hilarious. Whoever came up with that name?
It's absolutely ludicrous, man. I mean, you might, if I mean, or initially it was going to be called Racing Bulls. Well, next time stick with that name though.
Which is even bad as well. But at
It's
least I think we prefer
it's
to have
bad, but
Racing Bulls. Listen, Toro Rosso, Alpha Tauri, Racing Bulls. You can see a lineage of sorts there.
yeah, there's been
There's a
of
lineage.
connective
This
tissue sort of.
there's a lineage of sorts. This Visa Cash App Red Bull thing, there's nothing related to it.
Nutty.
Nothing related to it. There's no lineage, nada. It's like grabbing a 200-page foolscap blank and starting all over again. That's how it
Exactly.
is.
On the subject of, I mean, we've mentioned Ricardo, we've mentioned Liam Lawson. We didn't mention the main driver, Yuki Tsunoda, and probably his
Yes.
best season under AlphaTauri, probably.
In a very underperforming Alpha Tauri.
Yeah.
Now, there was a point in the season, yeah, between Yuki and Daniel Ricciardo, because there was another driver. There was a driver in the other Red Bull, but goes by the name of Sergio Perez,
Yeah.
who was massively underperforming. And I thought that either one or the two, either Yuki or Daniel Ricciardo, was going to replace Perez at the end of the season. Whoever finishes better between Yuki and Daniel Ricciardo, but it wasn't the case. Now Yuki, of course, he had another full season. He was the better of the two, of course, no doubt.
Yeah.
So I think the future is still bright for Yuki Tsunoda. I think the future is still bright for him.
Yeah, obviously his second season, I believe. Second season, yeah, in Formula One.
Third.
I believe.
Third.
Third season. Excuse
Third
me about
season.
that. Obviously he started on the rough. He started quite roughly. I mean, crashing the car. I mean, we all know how chaotic Yuki is, with his loud mouth profanity and his craziness as well, which
That's
we
his
all
charm.
love. Which we all
That's
love.
his charm. That's his charm, and I
Absolutely
love him for that.
I mean, that was in the Brazilian Grand Prix, when he got knocked out in the first qualifying. He was fucking hilarious, man. Like he was blaming like Lewis Hamilton for some reason as well. Like
I don't know how, but whatever.
his character is such a joy to watch in Formula One as well, and I mean, long may it continue as well. But again, I think what he can bring to next season is more maturity to the car, to his personality as well, getting quite a feel of a brand new car as well, and under a brand new name as well. And speaking of brand new, Franz Tost is no more a CEO. He's now replaced
Yep.
by Laura Meckier.
Le-
So
the, the engineer, the former engineer of Charles Leclerc at Ferrari,
exactly,
which did fuck up after fuck up,
yeah. So
which did fuck up
hopefully
after fuck up. So if Visa Cash App Red Bull is bad enough,
get
oh
a hands on
Lord,
that.
Mickey.
Oh man. So
Verdict.
overall, I mean, not great.
The
There
fact
is
they brought back the fact they brought back Daniel Ricciardo, I give
there
him a
is some
5.
hope. There is some hope. Yeah, I agree.
I give him a 5.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. I would give them probably a 5. I mean, that's probably the highest I can give them. I mean, an 8th place
Yeah.
finish isn't nice. I mean, it's quite low on the table as
They
well. Yeah,
helped,
they did definitely.
but I'll give him a 5. I'll give him a 5. The
I
fact that
agree.
Daniel Ricciardo is
I
back,
agree.
that's how much of a pull he is. It helped them out a lot. I'll give him a 5.
Yes, exactly. They need to get that identity back, sort of.
Yes, sir.
For next season as well.
Yes.
Excuse me about that. All right. Next up, and this is where I can finally have the fray as well, talking about a team, and that is Williams. They finished with 28 points and a 7th place finish. Now listen, a 7th place finish and 28 points on paper, it isn't that pretty. But in the context of a team like Williams, it's been a positive season. Now, we're talking about a team here that's, it's been on the ropes for a very, very. They finished rock bottom with just 8 points. And it's a team that has saw a lot of changes up top. I mean, Claire Williams being replaced, a lot of talented drivers leaving as well. Obviously, the death of their founder Sir Frank Williams was felt was they felt it massively as well. And this season they had to improve on the season as well, because as I said before, in 2022 they finished dead last, so they had to see an improvement, and thankfully they did. They did. Obviously, Alex Albon, second season at the team, joining from after a very difficult spell at Red Bull, and I think he found his place at Williams. Sacked by Red Bull, he spent pretty much the entirety of 2021 as a reserve test driver, so no racing for him, and this is the place and this for me, Williams was the place where he found where he found his aura back, in my opinion, because he pretty much single-handedly carried the team. I mean, 27 out of 28 points, and in some aspects he was outperforming some of the work teams as well. And you've got a talented driver there with Alex Albon as well. You can probably tell. What do you think about this, bro?
I agree with you on that. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Alex Albon finally showing his true promise ever since he left Red Bull now with Williams, as he makes it his mission to help Williams get back to as far as they possibly can, get back at the top of the pedestal of Formula One, which is a tough ask nowadays. Very tough ask. Very tough. But with the help of, when Albon first arrived, there was Jost Capito. Jost Capito helped Albon out massively. Of course, Jost Capito no longer there, replaced by James Vowles.
Yeah, exactly.
A person who was one of the brains behind Mercedes' dominance back in the day.
Yeah, he was the motorsport strategy director as well. So he arrived there with plenty of experience, plenty of a healthy CV as well. And under him, solid debut season for him as well. There seems to be a guidance under him. There's a good city they can focus on for the upcoming for the season to come, and this upcoming season as well. So under him, there finally seems to be some guidance under him. I think if I would probably give them like the major strengths for Williams this year are for the last season are the fact that Alex Albon, he's pretty much single-handedly carried the entire team from the weight of his shoulders. and James Vowles, which from obviously from coming from Mercedes, there was uh, there, there was a very some wealth experience under as well. Also, a second driver, that being Logan Sargent, who is was one of the rookies of last season. So, and he is fun fact, the first American driver in the grid since Alexander Rossi for in 2015, where he drove for Marussia for just 5 races. Before that, Logan Sargent was a test driver for the Williams team. He joined in 2021 at his home Grand Prix, funnily enough, in the US in the United States Grand Prix. He was in the Drivers' Academy that year. The season before, in 2022, he was in Formula 2, and where he finished in fourth place. And he obtained enough super license points to get a driver's seat for 2023, obviously replacing Nicholas Latifi or
Go
Gotifi,
Tiffy.
as much as I want to call it,
Go
as
Tiffy.
how more like that. And yeah, for Sarge, unfortunately, it was a rookie season for him. He struggled massively, only earning just a single point. That came at the Qatar Grand Prix, which, ironically enough, was a race that he finished 12th and retired. And he only got those points because Hamilton and Leclerc got disqualifications. So that pretty much got him a point. However, um, there seems to, I mean, with the case of James Vowles, I think there seems to be some confidence with him. They're going to give him another chance to get the feel more of the car as well. But he needs to obviously improve from last season. I mean, just 1 point, it's not pretty at all.
As a rookie in a Williams, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I'll
We,
give him
we
the
don't.
benefit. I'll give him the
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt. It is what it
Exactly.
is. I mean, Williams being outperformed drastically by Alex Albon
Yeah.
is nothing to be ashamed about in a Williams.
Yeah, we can't be too
Nothing to be
harsh
ashamed
on.
about for that, man.
We can't be too harsh, obviously, on Logan Sargent. He's still a rookie. He needs to find his feet at with the team as well. Thankfully, he's got support with Albin, Vowles, and the rest of the Williams team as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, positive season for Williams. Now, obviously, they're not perfect. The car is still. There were a couple of races where the car was struggling massively. I mean, got eliminated in the first round of qualifying as well for most of the races as well. Obviously, with going back to Logan Sargent, there was a couple of instances where he crashed his car, costing a fortune for the team to get their car fixed as well. But yeah, overall, it's a season to be proud of for Williams. More improvements to come, obviously, but they should build on the ground. They should build on what they ended last season with Williams for this upcoming season.
Williams
What do you
should be
think?
on the right path, definitely. Williams should definitely be on the
And
right path.
listen. I want Williams to go well. I mean, this is a team that has a nice history. That has a very respectable and nice history behind it. You look at the drivers that drove for the team: Nigel Mansell, Ayrton Senna, and Juan Pablo Montoya. I mean, the list just keeps on going. So it's a team that has a very, very respectable history behind it. And I want them to go well, honestly. I mean, I have a lot of respect for them.
Everyone wants Williams to do well
exactly.
with their great history, lineage of history.
Yeah,
thanks to the
definitely.
great to the great Sir Frank Williams.
Yeah,
rest in peace to him, by the way.
which he will be missed, which he will be certainly missed as well. If I would give them a rating, I'd give them a 7. I can't really go super high on them, but they should be proud for what they achieved last season.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
I'd give
mean,
them
Williams,
a 7.
especially Alex Albon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex Albon because he is looking like he's knocking on a door of one of the top teams again.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Do I think he'll ever leave? At least not this soon.
Too early.
I don't think he'll leave this soon.
It's too early at the moment. It's too early.
Yeah. Himself, he's making his mission to try and propel Williams back to the top.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we'll see on that.
Okay, that is Williams pretty much. Alright, so now there's a significant gap in points now between Williams and Alpine, which is going to be the next thing we're going to talk about. So Alpine finished with 120 points, which is much higher than the Williams team. Now, Alpine, this was a team that I was really intrigued to watch at the beginning of the season. Obviously, a French team. And you've got two French drivers there. First with Esteban Ocon, who's been with the team for quite a long time now, and Pierre Gasly, joining from Alpha Tauri, replacing Fernando Alonso, who went to Aston Martin as well. And you know, looking at the team, I was very very intrigued to see this team perform at the start of the season, because you've got two really competitive drivers, and at the same time they're still relatively young. I mean, Ocon and Gasly both in their 20s, so they have plenty of time to grow in the sport as well. Obviously, Gasly coming in with plenty of success with AlphaTauri, getting a race win and a podium both at Monza in two separate seasons as well, a couple of podiums as well at the same time. Even Ocon getting a race win for their team as well, in one of the races in the previous seasons as well.
Back in
But
Hungary.
like in
It was
Hungary as well.
Hungary.
Yeah,
It was in
exactly.
Hungary.
So I have no idea.
Thanks to Fernando Alonso
Yeah, exactly.
defending on Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest. All of that, but for me with Alpine, unfortunately, it's a case of failing to deliver what they're promised, because it's been a poor season for Alpine. Let's all be honest here. Yes, they're not one of the big boys of the team, but for a works team, you still have to perform far better than what you strive to be with two talented drivers like Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon. And I think, and obviously not I think, the main reason why they had a poor season was because of the instability up top. And there was a lot of changes up top from the start of the season
Definitely.
that affected the team massively as well. I mean, obviously there was disagreements between Otmar Sfauner and the Alpine board, which they've had a lot of, and ended up towards the midway stage, with both Otmar Zaufner and sporting director Alain Permain getting the sack. So pretty much up top, both of them getting sacked. You agree with this? I think it was pretty much it was pretty shocking by the timing of the announcement. But what do you think of this?
Well, I mean, overall, I'm gonna talk overall.
Yeah.
When it was announced that Gasly was leaving AlphaTauri, I hoped
Mhm.
that he would go to Alpine to replace Fernando Alonso, who was then going with Aston Martin. The prospect of a French team having two French drivers in Gasly and Ocon, that sounds very appealing. That
Yeah.
sounds, they can hit right on the money with that. But how can you hit the money if the car can barely check?
Yeah. Definitely. I think.
When the engine can barely swipe your cash link with it.
Yeah.
When it's reliability, it's absolutely atrocious. They retired
Very
back-to-back
inconsistent.
races. Part of the season, they retired back-to-back because of engine problems, engine failures, I believe. No.
Yeah. Yeah, engine failures as well. Yeah, obviously the Renault engine, it has to be a major issue as well. Very unreliable. It was obviously lagging far behind the Mercedes engines, the Honda engines, obviously. So for me, I think the two big reasons why Alpine had a really poor season, the changes up top, they've really hampered the progress of the team as well. Because obviously, when your CEO and sporting director leaves, the ambition goes missing completely, goes completely out of the wire. And now, um, uh, obviously, Bruno Famin is right now the interim manager. They still don't have a proper CEO. Now today, they're now this is obviously not 100% confirmed, but there are some rumors going on that Gunther Steiner could end up being the CEO of Alpine. Now, obviously, this is not 100% confirmed yet, but
Wow.
it would, yeah. It's shocking.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
very surprised about that. But
That would be lit. That would be lit. That would be lit. Listen, Gunther Steiner's not bad. Gunther Steiner's not bad. Yes, he
exactly.
has a sense of humor. Yes, he has personality, but he's not all that bad.
No,
Like Gene
obviously.
Haas himself makes him out to be. Fuck Gene Haas, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I
Fuck
forgot to
that guy,
mention
man.
that.
Yeah, fuck that guy, obviously, man.
So
But
if they bring someone like Gunther Steiner in, that could help him out massively.
yeah, but obviously,
That could help out Alpine massively. In my opinion, that is.
Yeah, obviously, 100% agree with you on that. No, regarding obviously when your CEO and sporting director leaves, you lack the ambition and the fact that they're still with an interim CEO at the beginning of the season, that doesn't sound optimistic in my eyes as well. And not only
Definitely.
that, their technical officer Pat Fry also left the team. Reason being is because the Renault engine was so shit. And
Disasters.
who could
Disasters
who
reliability.
and who could blame him? Honestly, who could blame him right now?
I think Alpine, when they were known as Renault, they dropped the ball. I believe they either released or he left the team when Cyril
Um,
left the team.
yes, hundred
Cyril
percent.
was a key figure. Cyril was such a key figure in the team, and he was very much liked, and he was very good at what he did. He even had Daniel Ricciardo, um, trying to mold him in the
Mm-hmm.
Renault when he
Yeah,
moved to Renault.
yeah, exactly. So yeah.
I mean, he didn't really hit the heights
Mm-hmm.
after he left Red Bull. He didn't really hit the heights
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he didn't have
exactly.
the car,
Mm-hmm.
because they gave him a project that
Yeah.
didn't really work out. But he tried his best. Cyril tried his best.
Mm.
But Cyril was such a key figure, and they let him go, or he left, or he got fired. I don't remember exactly.
And even on Otmar's founder's CV, only 1.5 year at Alpine. That's not good for his side as well.
Bro, Otmar flopped at Aston Martin, and he flopped at Alpine.
Yeah. I used to just retire completely from F1. There was obviously he was going to join Andretti's Formula One team, but obviously that's no longer going to happen as well. Anyways, back to Alpine. Yeah, obviously, when it comes to lack of stability, the team's progress affects it gets affected as well. As you mentioned before, double retirements at that stage as well. And yes, I mean, I think the positives they can take away from Alpine is that they got two talented drivers there, as I said, with Ocon and Pierre Gasly. They finished very, very close in the final standings. Obviously, 11th and 12th isn't a great result for both of the drivers and the team as well. However, there seems to be a competitive edge towards the two drivers, and they've also scored a podium each, as and Monza. But as I said, obviously, there were too many DNFs for the entire season, which obviously ended up which obviously affected the team, and they finished below the top five as well. However, it's not all doom and gloom because obviously with those major changes, there's also
So sorry to interrupt you, Jan. Sorry to interrupt you. I was
yeah.
just checking out. Those back-to-back retirements were between Great Britain and Hungary.
Oh wow,
Back to both Alpines. Back-to-back retirements,
yeah,
both
yeah.
Alpines. Great Britain to Hungary.
Embarrassing for that as well. No, but to continue on,
Just
obviously,
sorry to
no, no,
interrupt.
no,
Sorry
no,
to interrupt.
no, no, fine by me, man. No, obviously with those major changes, Otto Capital bought a 25% stake for Alpine, which they acquired it last June, and they've only completed the transfer last December. And including in that 25%, there was the strategic investors that made up a 200 that overall they made it like a 200 million pounds. And the celebrities, there's like a whole wide range of celebrities here. It's led by Ryan Reynolds, who is obviously most known for playing Deadpool. He's also
And
the owner
being the co-owner of Wrexham.
of Wrexham as well, with Rob McElhenney, who we also invite as well. But some of these celebrities, there's some quite well known. There's some quite well-known A-list stars here. I mean, we're talking about, for example, some of these celebrities we're going to
Rory
mention.
McIlroy, the golfer.
Rory
Patrick Mahomes.
McIlroy, the golfer, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, who both play for the Kansas City Chiefs. By the way, shout out to them. They just made the Super Bowl final. If they're listening to this or not.
Using that Taylor Swift money to good use.
Yeah. I mean,
We
she's gonna
see
be
you, Travis. We see
Yeah.
you, Travis.
she's gonna be super pleased, bro. I mean, she's gonna be super intrigued about this one.
Yeah, because 1.1 billion for her ain't enough, huh?
Yeah. There's always room to grow. There's always room to grow for Taylor. Anyways, yeah, shout out.
No, I'm not sus. I'm not sus, by the way.
No.
I'm not sus.
Fine by me, man. Anthony Joshua, the British boxer as well, and obviously there were also two football stars that are in this deal. One being Juan Mata, who was the former attacking midfielder of Chelsea and Man United, and also Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is Liverpool's main right back. So there is optimism. There is optimism for Alpine. Obviously, I am a little bit skeptical about next season, that the fact that they still don't have a proper CEO up top, which it might affect their ambition for the upcoming season as well. However, they have plenty of time to improve, to fix their car, to fix where they have to improve. In my opinion, chassis and the power unit has to be the main two factors we're talking about here as well. So poor season. It's a season to forget for Alpine. To give our final verdicts on this. Um, Anything to add? I don't. No,
Really,
not much.
the only thing I can say, is I hope for the better for Alpine, because they're a team with history as well. From Renault
Renault as
to
well. Yeah.
to Lotus, back to Renault, and now Alpine.
Yeah. Exactly.
So they're a team with quite a lot of history in the sport,
Yeah.
especially hitting the peak when they won back-to-back titles thanks to Fernando Alonso.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Giancarlo Fisichella. Can't discredit his work. But
That was
Fernando Alonso,
a long time
that's where
ago, man.
Renault 2005-2006. That's ancient history now.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know, Alpine, I hope for the best for them. They have an exciting lineup. They have an exciting lineup. Alpine have such an exciting lineup. Hope for the best.
Rating.
I don't know. They really need to improve that engine, though.
Yeah,
they got to improve
massively.
that engine massively.
That Renault is very unreliable. It's super unreliable, actually.
Unreliable, and the least powerful engine on the grid.
By far. Yeah.
Least powerful engine. Straight line speed, non-existent.
No.
Non-existent on that Renault.
Absolutely not.
Verdict on Alpine?
4. I'll give them a 4, man. That 6th place isn't good enough for a team like them. Yes, they're a works team, but it's not good enough for them.
There's competition though, so I'm gonna give them a 4.
Yeah, probably like a 4 or 4.5. I think it will suffice for that rating as well. All right. Now we're getting into the
top 5.
We're in the top 5. We're halfway there. We're getting pretty much into the big teams now. And in 5th, we have Aston Martin with 280 points, way higher than Alpine. And for Aston Martin, for me, solid season for them, but it was a season of two halves for me. They started the season on fucking fire. They started on fire. I mean, and there's only one.
We even thought Aston Martin. Sorry to interrupt, Jan. We even thought Aston Martin was gonna be the front runner to compete with Max Verstappen and Red Bull, thanks to Fernando Alonso's resurgence.
The first couple of races showed that, and as you can do, there's only one. There's only one man that has. There's only one man that deserves all his flowers, man. That's Fernando Alonso. I mean, for his age,
no doubt.
How old is he? He's in his 40s now.
That's anomaly. That is anomaly.
That is ridiculous. I mean, there's a reason why he's one of the best drivers of all time, in my opinion, as well. And the first 8, I mean, he got like 6 out of 8 podiums for a team like Aston Martin. He was literally, I mean, we're talking about Albon single-handedly carrying the team. I mean, Alonso, even more, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he did, because Lance Stroll, I mean, we all know why Lance Stroll is there. Because of his daddy. Lance Stroll is there because of his father.
He ain't got his daddy anymore, though.
Yeah, Lance Stroll ain't there anymore.
Nah, he ain't there, man. You want to look it up if you want, but he ain't got his support anymore.
Who's there now? Who's there?
Martin Whitmarsh, I think, is the main man in front at Aston Martin.
But ain't Lawrence Stroll the owner of Aston Martin?
Don't know much about Aston Martin, to be honest about that. But anyways,
Lawrence Stroll is the owner of Aston Martin. Lawrence Stroll is the owner.
Oh. Yeah, confused about that for a second, man.
Yeah, Lawrence Stroll. I was saying, Lawrence Stroll is the owner of Aston Martin. He owns the whole thing.
Oh, fuck. I got confused there in a second, man. I got completely confused there.
Lawrence Stroll, you're not going to put him in the team, boss. He's the one that pumps in the money.
Yeah,
so that's the reason why Lance Stroll, his son, is there.
But,
that's the only reason why, because he is the least talented driver on the grid. I mean, yes, a couple patches here and there, but nah.
No, but
compared to Fernando Alonso, nothing.
Yeah, as you said before, I mean, it was all because of Fernando Alonso. I mean, he started the season on pretty much steroids. I mean, from the first couple of races, there was a possibility that they could challenge Red Bull for the title. However, on the title, I mean, they went from 55 points in the season before. I mean, that is an outrageous amount of progress
Massive
for a team
improvement.
like Aston
Massive
Martin as
improvement.
well. I mean, for those 8, they got 8 podiums. The progress can't be denied as well. I mean, those 8 podiums, they scored for the first 8 rounds, they scored 6 podiums, which is very, very impressive as well. However, the irony is when you have an upgrade, you supposedly think the car is going to improve massively. But in the
What?
case of Aston Martin,
They downgraded.
they downgraded and they
But
didn't work.
is it because they downgraded, or the other teams' upgrades were more significant than Aston Martin's?
But the funny thing is, it's a Mercedes power engine.
Yes, that helped them. That does help them a lot, because the Mercedes engine is very reliable, and it's okay, it's good. I mean, not good, not as great as yesteryear, but it's good.
Nah,
Still good.
exactly.
Still decent engine. Still decent
And
engine, no doubt.
obviously, the mid-season developments, obviously with the upgrades, they didn't seem to pay off in the result as well. And obviously, the podiums downgraded significantly because obviously other teams, and specifically we're going to talk about, made massive progress as well. So yeah, the improvements massively significantly progress has a significant downgrade for the season as well. Obviously, having Lance, I mean, we're talking about useless drivers. I mean, Lance Stroll has to be right up there, man. I mean, I
The
just
most
don't.
useless.
I just don't see the point of him getting in that team as well, man. He just
Most
offers very little for the sport.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The only Lance Stroll. Do you know when Lance Stroll last was that he was seen as a decent driver?
Yeah,
When there was Nikita Mazepin on the grid.
100% agree on that, man. Because it's like the car doesn't. Obviously he isn't comfortable with how the car performs, and he doesn't. Obviously, he's lacking the talents as unlike Alonso, for example, because Alonso obviously has much more experience and the amount of racing pedigree he has. I mean, if he should. I mean, this brother said he wants to play tennis. Brother, go fucking play tennis then.
Please
Get the
do.
fuck out.
Please do.
Get
Please
the
do.
fuck out. Get the fuck out of Formula One, man.
You even get smashed by Carlos Alcaraz at tennis, by the
Yeah.
way, and Yannick Sinner. Just to
I
let
mean,
you know, Stroll.
and they're very likable as well, man. And they're very like as well. But yeah, obviously, I think the second half of the season massively. They had a bit of a downgrade for the second half of the season. However, they should be really, really pleased with the progress they made. I mean, to go from double-digit numbers to triple-digit numbers in just 1 year, having that amount of pace early on in the season, they should be really, really, really proud of what they achieved in the coming season. And listen, we all questioned Alonso's main aims of why he wanted to go Aston Martin. We all thought because it was of the money. Well, now
Not
you
the
can see
case.
why. Because Alpine,
Not the
we're out of the paces, we're out of the races completely. And Aston Martin were the complete opposite as well.
Alonso is the words seasoned veteran for Alonso to me is an understatement.
Yeah.
To me, is an understatement. He saw the progress that Alpine was making, and he dipped. He saw Aston Martin's progress, and he was like, let me give this a try. Let me give this a gamble. For the first 3 races, amazing.
Yeah.
But then, unfortunately, they kind of slumped. They kind of slumped down. Still, from previous season,
Yeah.
massive improvement still.
Definitely.
Even Alonso finished P4 in the standings, I believe.
One last point for
P4 in the standing. Yeah.
So sorry, can you mention that again, bro? Because I couldn't hear it.
Go ahead.
No. Your point.
Oh, my point. Well, Alonso finished P4 in the standings, so basically he had a very good year. Very, very good year in Aston Martin as well.
Considering the car, excellent year.
Amazing. So Alonso, as you mentioned before, we all questioned why he's going to Aston Martin. It was a bit of a shocker to go from Alpine to Aston Martin.
Yeah,
kind of left field. But he saw everything beforehand. Alpine was on a downhill, and Aston Martin on the upwards trajectory. So therefore, he
100%.
made the right choice to move to Aston Martin, and it paid off. It paid off, I think. But is there room for improvement for Aston Martin? No doubt. No doubt. Because
Yeah,
knowing Lawrence Stroll, who is the owner, he's there to win. He
yeah,
wants to win. I mean, every team in
yeah.
Formula One is there to win. I mean, why are they there in the first place?
Yeah, one last question because we have talked about four teams and we're already 1 hour into our episode as well.
Facts. Wow.
So time flies, yeah, man. Alonso, he's not getting younger. He's in his 40s now. How long do you think he has left?
Listen,
And is this his last
I,
team?
I've learned that in life age is just a number.
Yeah,
Alonso, you look at even at Hamilton as well. 40 years old next year or this year, I believe. I'm not quite sure.
yeah,
He's 39. He's 39. As long as you have that hunger and that will, nowadays, there's more nutrition. Formula One drivers are they're training more like athletes. So they're increasing their longevity.
yeah,
So with Alonso, I'm looking at maybe, even though, as the things I just mentioned beforehand, with the longevity, with the nutrition and the training, all that, I think maybe 2 years maximum for
yeah.
Alonso still.
I agree, man.
Maybe
2 years.
just before the regulations. Maybe he tests the waters with the new regulations and he
Excuse me.
sees from there.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. Obviously, I mean, he still has his aura still. So he has. I
Yeah,
think I would give him 2 more years. So rating, uh,
I give him a 7.
7. Yeah, I'd give him a
I give
7.
him a 7.
I'd give him a 7 as well. I mean,
Beginning of the season, from first 2 races, 9 out of 10.
just for the progress alone. Second
Just
half,
for the
5.
those 3 races, I was amazed. Even Alonso himself said,
Yeah, yeah,
in the first race of the season, that this car is so fun to drive.
yeah,
And
exactly.
for Alonso to say that, that is a privilege. For
Yeah,
someone like Alonso to say that.
100%,
But
man.
they slumped, but still respectable. I'll give
Yeah,
him a 7 out of 10.
yeah. Alonso, he has to be proud, but Lance Stroll, man,
He gotta go.
man
He
the
gotta
fuck
go.
up, or you're gonna have to walk out the kitchen, man, because he's getting on my
But
nerves.
he ain't because there's his daddy. His
Yeah,
daddy is there. Yeah. But if
yes,
daddy leaves, then Aston Martin go down.
yeah,
Because
I
at least
know.
Lawrence Stroll helps
All
fund the
right,
team to improve.
all right. Now, all right, here we go. Now it's time for me to talk. The part where I'm absolutely looking forward to because I'm talking about my team, and that is McLaren. Fourth
Right
place.
on the 1 hour mark, by the
Yep,
way.
right on the 1 hour mark as well. Yeah, perfect. That is a perfect line. So McLaren, we finished in fourth with 302 points. Very, very quite a bit too close to comfort to Aston Martin, to be honest. But we'll get that a bit later on. Now, funny enough, McLaren, our season is the complete opposite of Aston Martin because they had a great start to the season. We had an absolutely atrocious start to the season. I mean, our car in winter testing was a fucking disgrace. We couldn't even make out of Q1 or outside outside the top 10. I mean, well below the bottom half of the table, and it was pretty damn worrying because obviously we've had Lando Norris, another season with obviously there was some questions starting to raise about Lando Norris's future, whether he would be pursued by another team. We were hearing that possibly Red Bull could be linking him, could be luring him in if results didn't improve. And we also had Oscar Piastri replacing Danny Ricciardo, another rookie, coming in into Formula One, coming straight out of Formula Two, for him as well. And we obviously lost Andreas Seidel, as mentioned previously, to Sauber. So Andreas Stella had obviously the key to control the team as well. So it came pretty much at the worst possible time. Our car wasn't fully 100% done. The upgrades weren't there. However, speaking of upgrades, they came, and our season completely changed. And from us, and it started from Austria. Lando Norris's upgrades. The upgrades came from Excuse me about that. I got started a bit there. Norris's upgrades came from Austria, and Piastri's upgrades came from Silverstone. And the upgrades immediately improved our car. We were getting into the podium places. We were even at some races. We were challenging Red Bull. Literally, we were like the second fastest car on the grid. And
well, you took ideas from that RB19.
you
took ideas from that
Stop,
RB19.
stop being jealous, man. You stop
I'm
being
not
jealous.
being, how can I be jealous? We finished above you. What do you want about?
No, but we got our upgrades in.
By the way, I support Ferrari. If you didn't know this.
Yeah. I mean, spoiler alert, guys. He's a Ferrari fan, massive Ferrari fan as well. So that's why we have a bit of a banter on
It is what it
against
is.
each other as well. But obviously the upgrades came and we immediately improved. We were like the second best car on the grid. We got Lando. I mean, speaking of Lando Norris, 6 second place finishes, another strong season for him. He really is our star boy. A term that's mostly used in football when it comes to star boy as well. But Lando Norris is our star boy, man. I mean, without him, I have no idea where we would be without Lando Norris's presence. And for me, I know I'm going to be super biased here. I know driver of the season is Max, but for me, second is Oscar Piastri, man. This is his first season. He's a rookie, and he absolutely fucking smashed it. He absolutely smashed it. I mean, we haven't had a strong rookie season probably since Hamilton back in 2007. I mean, that for me was the best rookie season. Piastri, obviously not as strong as Lewis, but he comes a close second in my opinion. I mean, from the past decades, yeah. Listen, you may disagree with me on that. You may disagree with me on that, but he had.
I'm disagreeing.
Yeah, of course you are disagreeing, man. Of
No,
course
no,
you're
no, no, no.
disagreeing.
I'm not disagreeing because I'm salty. No, I'm not disagreeing because of that. I'm not disagreeing because of that. Do I agree that he's had a great year as a rookie? No doubt. 100% agree with that. I agree with that best rookie since Lewis Hamilton. I even thought of that myself. But close to the levels of Lewis Hamilton? Nah.
No, I didn't say close. I didn't say close.
You
He
said
isn't
that.
close.
You said that.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You said that. You
Oh,
said
no.
that.
Whatever, man.
You rewatch the clip and tell me later.
I would gladly rewatch it, man.
Watch the clip and tell me later, man. Nah, stop the cap. Nah.
Stop it. Yeah, never mind. But strong season for both drivers, and I have to give props to Zach Brown and Andrea Stella because they're real. I mean, Andrea Stella. I mean, there was a lot of pressure for him. I mean, obviously he obviously fun fact with Andrea Stella, he was one of your old boys, bro. At Ferrari.
He was, no doubt. He was.
Yeah, definitely. It was all as well. So the upgrades, look, we obviously started the season very badly, but the upgrades came and they massively paid off as well. So we got a lot of podium places as well, 6 for Lando Norris. And Piastri, he won a sprint race as well. I mean, we're going to continue on Oscar Piastri as well. It's a race, bro. It's a race, bro. It's a race, bro. It's shorter, but it's a race.
10 laps around my local park, sure.
No, bro. It is a race.
10 laps around my local park.
It's still a race, brother. It is still a race.
It's a sprint race, not a race.
Yeah.
A race is when Carlos Sainz won at Singapore. That's a race. And Hector Boy Lando Norris. That's a race.
Yeah.
Finished
fair enough.
P2,
But
the front of the Mercedes. That's a race.
Yeah, fair enough. But again, I mean, I'm very, very happy with the season as well. I mean, just to wrap things up with McLaren, very, very happy with the season overall. Obviously, look, Lando hasn't won a race yet, and that is all I want for next season. We're gonna get to our season predictions in another episode, but I want him to win, and I think it could be if the car obviously starts at the right foot. I think we will finally see Lando get his long-awaited first race win. I think that's all I wish when it comes to Lando, because he is an immensely talented driver. Immensely talented. And
look, keep going.
To be honest, this season there were a couple of races he was a bit unlucky because obviously of the brilliance that is Red Bull and Verstappen, which again we will get to later on. Obviously there was the 2021 season where he nearly won, but obviously what was his fault as well. So we're seeing a far more mature Lando Norris, and obviously that is something I want to see as well from Oscar Piastri for the upcoming season. We saw what this kid can do. He has an immense potential.
No
But
doubt.
now we will see a more mature side of Oscar. Can he handle the car? Can he handle the more pressure? Can he have the more ambition as well to get into those podium places more than Lando? We will wait and see. But since there is momentum, we have momentum under Andrea Stella. We're going in the right direction.
Well, first of all, I would like to start off now. All jokes aside, I do like McLaren. I really do like McLaren because along with Ferrari and Williams, they're the only three teams on the grid that they started their history and they're still going as the main teams. No collaborations like for example Red Bull buying it from Jaguar, stuff like that. So I do like McLaren, really do. They have such a great history, McLaren. Ayrton Senna, David Coulthard, Kimi Raikkonen, Juan Pablo Montoya,
Mika Hakkinen,
Lewis Hamilton, Mika Hakkinen. They have such a great history. Jenson Button. They have such a great history, McLaren.
To hold you on a second as well, this year is the anniversary of our first championship title.
Exactly.
Fun fact. Emerson Fittipaldi.
Great. Now, I would like to first off start with a big shout out to Zach Brown.
Yeah.
What he has
Major
done.
shout out.
How long has Zach Brown been at McLaren?
6 years now. 6
has
years.
He been you can tell me. You can tell me on that.
6 years. 6 years. Yeah.
Oh, since 2018 he's been there.
He came at a quite rough place as well because we were underperforming massively that time.
That was just what I was about to say. I remember back in 2015, Alonso was shouting GP2 engine at the Japanese Grand Prix.
Oh, 2015. Don't remind me of that season, man. Because we were absolute horseshit that season, man.
Yeah, McLaren Honda collab.
Piss poor, man. Piss poor.
Sure.
Piss poor, man.
But I remember just Alonso shouting GP2 engine. And then
we come a long way, man.
Of course, very long way. 2018, Zach Brown's first year. It was starting to move. 2019, I believe Lando Norris came in at 2019, no?
Mm-hmm.
2019.
Starting to doubt myself a bit on this. I think 2019.
Because 2018, Alonso and Stoffel Van Dorn, no?
Yes, exactly.
Stoffel Van Dorn. 2019, it was the introduction of Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz.
Yeah. Yep, 2019.
2019, Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz. And they were really starting to pick up momentum from there.
Yes.
Not sending the world alike,
absolutely.
But you could see that there was absolute potential in Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
And then everything was starting going forward for them. They were starting to find their feet more. And Zach Brown, massive shout out to him for helping out the team massively for that. Of course, bring someone in like Andrea Stella, helped them out a lot as well. So I don't hate McLaren. I hope McLaren do well, and I hope that Lando Norris can win a championship. No, sorry, not a championship, a race. To start off.
I wish he could win a championship, but he needs to get a race win first.
Exactly, he needs to get a race win first.
I
hope that happens for him. I really do hope that happens because he was a really likable guy. He's very likable, super talented. And the fact that I have someone like Oscar Piastri now getting into his second season, there's going to be a bit more spice to the team. There's going to be a bit more experience to the team now.
Look, the thing I'm so proud of my team is that we have two very young drivers in our team as well. And we can, and obviously when you have young drivers, there is space for them to grow, space for them to build as well. So
yes, and they have such a great environment.
Overall,
environment.
I'm very confident with McLaren right now going forward. I think Andrea Stella is on the trajectory at the moment. Is on the trajectory for the team as well. Zach Brown at the helm as well. So, and honestly, good riddance to I honestly at first thought that Andreas Seidel and even James Key leaving, we would sort of like affect. We would feel their presence, but we're not feeling their presence at all. I mean, specifically James Key. That dude was just pulling out some really awkward engines in our team as well. So I'm really glad he's gone, man. And I'm feeling very confident with my team going forward as well. All I wish, and this is where I'm gonna finish up on McLaren on my team basically. So all I wish is to start on the right foot, because if we start in the exact same manner as last season, we're it's gonna be pretty much
But
the year
listen, you
beyond
could
as
st-
well.
you could start much better. You could start this season like you ended last season,
Yeah.
and end this season as you started last season. So
Yeah.
anything could happen.
No, obviously anything could happen
What
as
you
well.
want is consistency, good consistency. That's what you want at the end of the day.
Yeah. And luckily, we didn't have many retirements as well. The one thing that bothered me a little bit is that we left the door a little bit open for Aston Martin to get that fourth spot, but it was a little bit too late in this sense. So a fourth place.
Fourth spot was secured long ago. Fourth
Yeah,
spot
but
for McLaren was secured long ago. Let's be
we
real now.
were not entirely 100% safe. I would have to be completely honest as well on that. But anyways, look, third place the season before and fourth place this season. On paper, it sounds, it's a downgrade. But considering the entire transformation of the season, it's been a very, very positive season. If I would give them a rating, I would give them an 8, man. An 8. That's the highest I can give them. I can't really give them a 9 for the simple reason we started the season terribly.
An 8. I agree with you on that. I give him an 8 as well.
Yeah.
They really improved. I remember that race at Silverstone. Lando Norris was giving a run for Max Verstappen a run for his money. That
Yeah,
race.
man. That was what a race, man. That was, by the way.
I genuinely thought that Lando Norris was going to get his first race win on home soil. It wasn't meant to be, though.
No.
But the thing is, I find one negative. If Lando Norris wins a race, I don't get to pick on you on it.
Yeah. And I hope that happens, man. I really, really do that happens, because he deserves it, man.
To happen, I don't. Yeah, he
deserves it, man.
From Lando's perspective, and McLaren's perspective, 1000%, he deserves it. But then I don't get to pick on you on it, so it's kind of a catch-22 there. It's kind of a catch-22, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyways, that's an 8 out of 10 for the Papaya Army. And now
I agree. 8 out of 10.
Army. Okay, and now it's time for you to take the floor, bro, because we're now talking about the team from Maranello, Ferrari. Take it away, dude.
Well. Of course, I already gave up the spoiler that I support Ferrari. I've
Massive
been
Ferrari fan, by the way.
Yes, I've been supporting Ferrari ever since I got in the sport, back in 2002. I mean, of course, I didn't know everything in 2002. I'm 26, by the way. I'm not that old.
I'm a year younger.
Huh?
I'm a year younger, 25, year
I'm
younger.
26. I was a baby, yeah. My father putting it on Rai Uno. I'm watching a red car roaming around the circuit of Monaco. I'm watching a circuit around Monaco, a red car roaming around Monaco, going round and round. Hella quick. That driver was Michael Schumacher. And it stuck with me ever since. To see that red car being on pole, winning races, seeing Michael Schumacher as a race winner, I got hooked in. Immediately got hooked in. So, and ever since then, I've been Ferrari ever since. Red is my favorite color. I support Manchester United. Red as well.
Same here as well.
So practically, it was a match made in heaven.
Same here as well.
When you mention Ferrari, it's like you're mentioning Manchester United.
Yeah.
Basically. Just in F1 terms. Now with Ferrari last season, comparing to the previous season, where we were supposed to be competing for the championship, quite dismal, in my opinion.
There's one man for it.
Even though we won a race win, we got a race win thanks to the smooth operator Carlos Sainz, who helped his boy Lando Norris secure P2 that race, fending off Mercedes and making George Russell crash on the last lap.
You're missing one man, Binotto, Harry Potter.
I'll get to Binotto. I'll get to him. When we were supposed to be competing for the championship back in 2022, We started off great. 1-2 finish in Bahrain. Leclerc getting a Grand Slam in Australia. Things were looking great. Amazing. But Mattia Benotto happened. Car engine problems happened. Reliability happened. Damage happened. Leclerc mistakes happened.
Molto
Everything went
prontissimo.
down the drain. Fuck off. Everything happened. So, and basically, we dropped out. We dropped out quicker than a college dropout. We dropped out quicker. So
I was laughing so hard, man. When every time you were having a smooth race, and the team just decides to fuck up everything with your bullshit strategies or what the fuck you want to call them.
The pit stops.
Because
bro,
my
even,
God,
even,
man,
even remembering
Comedy
it,
Central, bro.
Bro, even remembering it, I'm getting a headache. Even remembering, I'm getting a headache.
Get that flower picture up my social feed, man, because that is glorious, man.
It is. But I don't want to talk about 2022. I want to talk about last season, 2023.
Yeah, go ahead, because we're
I want to
stuck
talk
on
about
that.
2023. But comparing to 2022, dismal year. Even though Carlos Sainz got a race win in Singapore, breaking Red Bull's dominant win streak, thanks to Carlos Sainz, and thanks, of course, to the Red Bull being very, very poor at Singapore. Thankfully, we got a race win. But overall, some tracks we were great. For example, Singapore, Monza, we were great. But in Australia, start of the season, we were appalling. Leclerc retiring in the first race of the season, and it was starting to look dismal. By the way, Charles Leclerc, super unlucky. Super unlucky.
Yeah, listen, I would go. I banter, I joke, but Leclerc this season, 2023, it was such a difficult year from so super unlucky. I mean, there was a race he couldn't even. I think it was the Brazilian Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken. He couldn't even start. He didn't even start the race.
Yeah,
He was
he
having
crashed
issues
on
in
the
the warm up.
formation lap.
In the formation, in the warm up lap as well. Anyways, back to you.
Well, practically that. Charles Leclerc, super unlucky season. He had a great drive in Las Vegas, pulling off a last lap move on Sergio Perez in the final corner. Great. Leclerc, he has pace, no doubt. For me, on one lap, Leclerc is the fastest driver.
Yeah.
For me, on one lap. But you don't get points for one lap. You get points in a race and where you finish. So, that relies on the driver, but also on the car. If you don't have the car, you can barely do anything. Now, even though Fred Vasseur coming in, I think
from Alfa Romeo.
Even from Alfa Romeo coming in, even though we finished third in the constructors behind Mercedes compared to 2022 where we finished second, I believe that we're moving in the right direction. Same with McLaren. They finished a position below the previous season, but I believe that we're improving. Pit stops, strategies, they're better. Especially the pit stops.
Yeah, one thing I noticed with Ferrari in 2023 was that even though they were making some mistakes in their strategies, I think they were far more they were much less under than it was under Binotto, for example. And I mean, I would even describe their seasons in the famous words of General.
Facts.
And it really is. However,
Facts.
It on the balance of all things considered, it was a decent season for Ferrari. I mean, the fact that they won a race, the only race apart from the team which we will very soon talk about. The fact that they won a race has been a decent season, and
I did say dismal. Maybe because I have such high standards. Maybe because I have such high standards. Maybe because I have such high standards. Probably I have such high standards. That's why. But I was disappointed because you want more as a fan.
Yeah, obviously you expect more.
You do want more. Ferrari, such a household name, like I mentioned. I expect more. Even though coming into this season, I'm expecting the same, really. I'm expecting the same. I'm not expecting much. Maybe some better results, maybe a better car, but I'm not expecting much, really, honestly. So,
do you think Leclerc needs to pick up the pace as well?
Oh, most certainly.
I mean, he's the poster boy of the team, man. He needs to.
Especially now he got that new long-term deal. He has to. Sainz, on the other hand, has nothing to lose. He's out the door. He's out the door next season.
And
So
on
being
that,
replaced by the shocking news
yeah,
of Lewis Hamilton
which
joining Ferrari in 20.
and that's where we're gonna get. So basically, before we get that, final score for Ferrari.
Final score for Ferrari. I did say dismal. I think I was pretty harsh because I expect
Yeah.
much. But in reality, looking back at it, Leclerc got 5 poles during the season.
Yeah.
Got some pole finishes. Sainz won a race, breaking Red Bull's dominant streak of a near perfect season.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm gonna go with a 7 though.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna give very, very quick thoughts on Ferrari as well. I'll give them a 7. For me, they've minimized the errors when it comes to the strategies and the pit stops from last season as well.
Especially the pit stops.
For Carlos Sainz, I think I believe that Sainz was the better driver than Leclerc last season.
I do
Definitely,
agree.
in terms of race pace, he was definitely better. I think with Ferrari, they got pole positions, but when it came to the races, they dipped a bit.
The problem is Leclerc doesn't know the limit.
Yeah.
Doesn't know the limit. That's his problem. He's so hungry to win that he doesn't know the limit. That's why on one lap, it can either go super good or or horribly wrong. He ends up crashing. Just what happened in Miami around 5. He ended up crashing because he was flying there. Didn't know the limit. Boom, crashed.
Yeah. He needs to minimize those errors as well when it comes to Leclerc as well.
I bet Leclerc needs to mature. He needs to mature more.
Even especially
now,
after his announcement.
especially when he accepted the contract extension, the long-term deal, and especially now with somebody like Lewis Hamilton coming in.
Yeah.
He has to up his game.
And speaking of Lewis Hamilton, we're off to Mercedes now. Now, Mercedes, look, before we get to Mercedes, huge breaking news yesterday, which I still can't believe this happened, by the way, because last August we were initially told that Hamilton signed a 2-year contract with Mercedes. He was going to stay there for 2 more seasons in a bid to maybe up his performances and get an 8-world title. However, that ain't the case, man. That ain't the case anymore because he mentioned about a release clause in his contract, and 2024 will be his final season with Mercedes. After 11 years, breaking all sorts of records, making pretty much completing F1. I mean, 8 constructor titles in a row, 7 world titles, 105 or 6 race wins, the most successful driver in the sport. He literally just took off. He's pretty much the greatest, I think, in the sport. Obviously, there's Senna. There's Senna and Schumacher, obviously, in the category that there's a course up for debate there. But he's the most successful driver in history. There's no arguments about that. So to leave there, so you may think at 39, you may think, oh, he's going to retire. He's going to retire. He's going to retire. Maybe maybe a sabbatical. But no. Because he's joining Ferrari at the start of the 2025 season. I mean, we talk about. I mean, there were white driver transfers over the years. I mean, Vettel to Ferrari is one of them. But this man, this has to be the biggest, man.
The last time the paddock was this shocked was when Hamilton himself moved from McLaren to Mercedes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not even Vettel, maybe, but that's like 11 years ago that we're talking about Hamilton leaving McLaren for Mercedes.
That's such a long time, man. No, but
you look at this, yeah. But you look at this.
I'm going to have to ask you this. What are your thoughts, man? Because I can't believe it, man. I mean, no one expected this news, to be honest.
I think it was a long time coming. The rumors started circling around back in 2016. Back in 2016, it was up in the air. You know, we never believed it, but because it was never like, it's just fiction, whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that yesterday, or actually yes, yesterday, that we were seeing he is joining Ferrari. I was I didn't know how to react. I was shocked, of course, like everyone
Yeah.
around the world. I was shocked. But, you think about it and you sort of start to digest it in. Of course, being replaced by replacing Carlos Sainz, which I love Carlos Sainz, by the way, the smooth operator,
Great driver, man. I mean,
and going against. But I think Ferrari looked at it from this point of view, and Hamilton as well. Hamilton is not getting any younger. He's starting
39
his
now.
12th. He's starting his 12th season in Mercedes. The most any driver ever has completed seasons in a team, in a single team. 12 seasons, surpassing Michael Schumacher with Ferrari 11 seasons. Hamilton is going to start his 12 seasons, the most by any driver.
The longevity is insane for Hamilton.
Of course, thanks to before
Cristiano
mentioned
Ronaldo-esque numbers we're talking about here. I mean,
exactly. This is the same as Cristiano Ronaldo going to Juventus.
yeah,
Basically.
absolutely.
Same.
Do you agree with this move though? Because for me, it's very questionable. Look, we're still. I'm more. Look, to be honest, I saw some possible rumors of him joining Ferrari, but they weren't from the most reliable sources. But for me, the thing that surprised me the most is the timing of the announcement. For me, we're still in car launch. We're in the very beginning of car launch season. The 2024 season hasn't even started. I mean, we haven't even gone to winter testing yet. So
because
it makes no sense, man.
Practically, because now what's going to happen? Are Mercedes they're not going to tell Lewis Hamilton everything they're building?
No, absolutely not. But
and they're not. And Ferrari, on the other hand, they're not telling Sainz everything they're doing for next season and whatever during the season.
Do you agree with this move? Because when we knew about when we got to know about the announcement, I was literally. I mean, we were both in our. I think you were at work, right? When you heard the announcement.
I was at work.
Yeah, even myself. I was at work as well. But
I was scrolling through socials. Yeah, I was refreshing every time.
Do you agree with this move though? Because you told me that you weren't a fan. You weren't quite a fan of this of the whole move.
Look, I absolutely love Lewis Hamilton. Absolutely love Lewis Hamilton. A 7-time world champion, no doubt, one of the greatest to have ever lived for the sport. A model, a mogul in the sport world, no doubt. From a Ferrari brand, in a brand perspective, just the rumors of Hamilton joining Ferrari sending the shares. That's $4 billion alone.
That's a lot, man.
That's $4 billion alone, or £4 billion, whatever what is, but $4 billion for sure. Absolutely love Hamilton, but for a team perspective,
no,
because now you have two massive egos. Leclerc doesn't want to be second driver to nobody.
No, yes.
Lewis Hamilton still has the hunger, the fight. You're telling me that Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, is willing to be a second driver?
No, absolutely no chance.
Nah. And listen. I don't want that neither. If he comes in, because imagine, he wins his 8th world title with Ferrari. That would be a fairy tale. That would be a fairy tale. First of all, I would cry tears of joy. First and foremost.
Absolutely, man. No
I would cry tears of joy, no doubt. To see Ferrari win again since the last championship they won back in 2007 thanks to Kimi Raikkonen by 1 point. So, from a team perspective, I think there's going to be problems in the long run.
Yeah. Listen. I want Hamilton to win an 8th world title. Now, keep in mind, he was one of our. I mean,
he started the season with you, and the fact that Lewis Hamilton. Sorry to interrupt. The fact that Lewis Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton, he started when he was in GP2. Do you know who was his team boss with AR?
Who was he?
Fred Vasseur. Go check it out. Fred Vasseur was his team.
I will have to check it out.
You can check it out. Fred Vasseur was his team boss when he was at ART in GP2.
Yeah. Listen,
that is quite the story.
Quite some. I mean, he's going literally back full circle.
So he has this bond. He has a bond with Fred Vasseur.
Yeah,
he's close with him.
Going back full
circle.
Fred
Vasseur has a bond with Charles Leclerc, and Fred Vasseur, he's been good. Not great, but good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, listen. I mean, you talk about Schumacher being your idol. I mean, Lewis Hamilton for me was the reason I started watching Formula 1 and the reason I started supporting McLaren as well. I mean, main reason was my father, because he has been watching Formula One for years. I
Yeah.
mean, since the 1970s, he used to be watching Formula One as well. So that's pretty much one of the main reasons why I started supporting why I'm supporting McLaren to this day. But Lewis Hamilton was the first real driver that really got me into appreciating the sport as well at the same time. So
Yeah.
um, I want him to get that 8 world title as well. But you know, for me, this move doesn't make any sense, team dynamic wise. As he said, he's not going to be the second driver for Leclerc.
No doubt.
Absolutely no
No
fucking
doubt.
chance, man.
And
No
Leclerc wouldn't be
chance.
one of, and Leclerc wouldn't want to be a second driver as well.
For
You
me,
have two massive
yeah,
egos there. And listen, it's okay to have some sort of an ego
yeah,
because you want to win.
yeah.
You're
You
in the
need
sport to
that.
win.
Absolutely
So
need
no
that.
doubt. I don't know.
And oh my Christ, the amount of fucking complaint this guy's gonna be having now with
Oh,
him and Leclerc, man. Because Leclerc is also
oh,
another one of those drivers that
oh.
that complains quite recently. I'm
We got
so
two D.
unlucky. I'm so unlucky.
We one diva was enough. Now we
I
have
mean,
two.
I
Lewis
mean,
Hamilton. Listen,
listen.
oh my.
I want him to win the 8 world title. I want him to win. I want him to win an 8 world title. But for me, this screams money. For me, it's all about the cash, 100%, because it's a multi-year contract. Believe it or by the way.
This screams. This to me screams the most. This to me screams as a response to F1 rejecting Andretti.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get to
This is what
Andretti
it seems to me.
in our last part, because we still have to cover Mercedes and
Yes,
obviously
exactly.
the team with no name as well.
Just to
But
mention this thing
the
on
biggest lose.
Hamilton.
Yeah. Sorry.
Just to mention this last thing on Hamilton. Am I happy though? Am I happy? Because I can really say that.
I'm not, to be honest.
Yes and no. Yes, because we have a 7-time world champion.
You got to my point as well for that. Yeah.
The driver is still hungry. He still wants to win, no doubt. And the fact that he's
Respect
moving
that,
from
actually.
Mercedes to Ferrari, I think he. Listen, if you're a 7-time world champion, you know what's going on. You
Yeah.
can see he's not moving in the direction you want to go. Hell, Mercedes weren't even taking his advices.
No,
We're even taking his opinions.
you're right on that. Yeah.
We're even taking his opinions. So he's seeing Ferrari doing their thing over there. He's like, huh, do I retire or do I maybe gamble on something that I always wanted to do? And
It's his
driving
last
that
dance.
Scarlet
It's
Ferrari.
his last dance, man. It's his last dance, surely.
And in reality, to him it's a win-win. To him, to Lewis Hamilton himself, it's a win-win.
Absolutely.
Because he has his last season with Mercedes. Imagine if something drastically happens and he wins his 8th world championship with Mercedes. He goes to go to Ferrari. Chill.
Mm-hmm.
Happy days.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't lose. He doesn't win the championship. Has an abysmal year with Mercedes. Goes to Ferrari. He gets to live out his dreams.
Shit, excuse me, man.
One of his dreams. One of his goals. Check out his bucket list. And drive for the Scarlet Red. And maybe, possibly, drive for a car that is on the up. And maybe challenge for a world championship. And win a world championship.
And that's a big if. And that's a big if.
Of course, a big if. No doubt.
But for me, the biggest loser has to be Carlos for Senior Sainz. You have to feel for him, man.
No doubt.
After the season he's had a great season. He's been better than Leclerc.
To me, that's a bitch slap.
The way he got, it's a slap in the face for him as well.
That's a slap in the face, bro.
The
That's
way
a slap
he
in
got,
the face to Sainz.
And the way they did him dirty as well. You look at the fucking posters they did. It's. For me, it just doesn't seem right for me in the long run as well. And the question is, where is Sainz going to end up? Apparently, he's going to end up at Audi, but
is it a Fred Vasseur move?
I don't know, man.
Is it a F1 ex Liberty Media move? Because the timing of it is crazy.
Fucking crazy.
The timing of it is crazy.
It's bonkers, man.
I think. I don't know. I'm both happy and not so happy with Hamilton. I'm hoping for the best. We need to see
how the season fares before we get to see him in the Scarlet Red of Ferrari as well. I mean,
yes,
that's
of course, no doubt.
And
by the way, a message to a friend of ours. Red does suit him.
Oh yeah.
A message to a friend of ours, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
absolutely.
mention
Yeah.
it. I'm not gonna mention.
I
I'm not
know
gonna
who you.
mention any names. I'm not gonna mention any
We can't
names.
mention
Just
names.
that red suits him.
Yeah, it does. At first, I found it weird to be honest. But now it seems like we're now get we're now we're now getting the digestive part of what the basically of what Hamilton ends up with Ferrari is
Anyways,
basically
enough
about.
about Hamilton.
Back to
1 minute 39 seconds.
yeah,
1 hour 39
1
minutes.
hour.
Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes. So, Mercedes for me, it's such a weird season for them, man. Because it's such a weird season for them
Weird
because
season. They finished second.
they finished second. Yeah, fair enough. They finished second, but for me, their W14 car, I'm gonna compare this to a two-sided coin. Okay, so on one side, for their standards, for a team that's won 8 constructor titles in a row between 2014 and 2021, very disappointing. Very, very,
No
very
doubt.
disappointing.
No
I mean,
doubt.
first of all, for the caliber of drivers you have with Lewis Hamilton, as we mentioned before, 7-time world champion, and George Russell to get no wins and only one pole position for Lewis Hamilton at the Hungary Grand Prix. Yes, they got a couple of podiums. I mean, you should expect a team like Mercedes to get a couple of podiums.
That Hungarian pole from Lewis Hamilton, that was special. I literally jumped
Yeah,
off my seat by 3,000ths of a second. That
yeah,
was.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But
That was crazy.
absolutely crazy. Which I was very pleased for him as well. But
Even though he got beasted in the race, but that's
those
another story.
numbers for a team like Mercedes is unacceptable, to be honest. I think for them.
Ever since the regulation changes, they dropped the ball
And
massively.
that's because of the regulations, exactly. And the regulations has really hampered them the team. Even in 2022, they struggled with these regulations, and they didn't. And in 2023, they didn't seem to learn from their lessons at all. I mean, it was pretty much. It's like they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink, and without really improving the car in the slightest as well.
The thing is, just like I mentioned,
I mean,
Lewis Hamilton was giving them opinions and pieces of advice,
it was getting ignored basically.
and he was getting ignored. What if Mercedes took his pieces of advice, took his opinions? I think Mercedes would be in a better position, much better position.
Absolutely.
So Mercedes was giving Hamilton the shoulder. A driver that has given them so much,
Yeah, absolutely. And we're speaking of the car. I mean, Toto Wolff and even both Russell and Hamilton agreed that even at the opening Grand Prix itself, they admitted that they got the car wrong. I mean, if you admit that you got the car wrong at the fucking first race of the season,
that was in 2022 season, no?
No, I'm talking about the 2023 season, not the
Oh,
2022
last season,
season.
because 2022 was the same energy basically.
Yeah, if you
2022 was same
admit
energy.
that your car is not championship winning material at the start of your very first race of the season, you got problems there, man. And Toto Wolff needs to have some responsibility for that as well. Yes, the regulations haven't played in favor of them as well, but despite all that, they finished second. And they finished second. Yes, the table lies a bit. As much as I banter Ferrari, and I take the Mickey out of Ferrari as well, they should have got second instead of Mercedes as well. They should have got second instead of Mercedes and third. And they only got second is because the other teams were a bit inconsistent in the longer in some races.
Same as Ferrari.
Same as Ferrari as well. So,
same as Ferrari, we were inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly.
We were
100%
hot garbage.
Garbage. Garbage as well. But anyhow, it's like they haven't learned from their mistakes, Mercedes.
Nope.
And that has really cost them as well. That W14, it wasn't a championship winning material car. It was a car destined to fight between Ferrari and you could say McLaren as well. But Ferrari was the most, I think.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you believe that this is a make or break season for Toto Wolff?
So that's an interesting question, actually.
Because listen, back-to-back seasons now where Mercedes have really fallen apart.
And for Lewis Hamilton, it's the second season in a row
winless. Now that Lewis Hamilton is leaving after the season,
it's his last chance.
This is a massive hole to fill. Do you think this is a make or break season for Toto Wolff?
With Lewis Hamilton leaving, I'll get to your question very soon, by the way. With Lewis Hamilton leaving, I think it's a case that I think he's leaving he's leaving is because that either the Mercedes car this year is absolute dog shit, or
Come off
else
in a
he's seen
second.
something optimism with Ferrari. But anyway, back to Mercedes.
But listen. This is what I want to say. We say absolutely appalling, right? Is it because of the lack of Red Bull dominating the championship that we say these type of things?
What do you mean basically? Yeah, there was enough preparation from Mercedes.
No. They were bad. They were terrible. But are we saying this by Mercedes and Ferrari being not so good because of Red Bull's dominance? Because what if it was closer?
I wouldn't
Would we
say.
saying this? Would we be saying the same thing?
I wouldn't say they weren't good. They weren't good enough. It's because they were lacking. They were lacking maybe the upgrades of what Red Bull achieved as well. And with Toto Wolff making a make or break season, in the case of Hamilton, absolutely it is a make or break season for him, because if he really wants to push the car and himself to the absolute limit and back to being what who's ruthless best to what he is as a driver, then yes, I would say this is a make or break season for Toto Wolff as well. He needs, and I conclude with this point.
For Hamilton, it's not a make or break season, no doubt. It's not a make or break season. What I meant, a make or break season for Toto Wolff.
For Toto Wolff, yeah,
Russell,
for Toto Wolff.
George Russell has many years ahead of him. Super talented.
8th
Great
place,
talent.
however, is quite disappointing.
Yes.
In the championship, it's for his talents, and considering he also won a race in the season before, disappointing.
Yeah.
So Mercedes need to get the car right from the get-go this season, because if they're gonna come out with the same crap like they did in the 2 seasons before, then they're going to have another underwhelming year. Yes, they got second, and yes, it is a step up from last season. However, they have to improve, and if they really want to challenge Red Bull to possibly challenge them for the title, for the constructors' title, they need to get their A game from the get-go, and it starts from the car launch to the winter testing and to the weeks ahead of them. Because when you've got 2 drivers like Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, Toto Wolff at the helm as well, you expect a lot from them. I mean, this is a team that's won 8 constructor titles. And Toto Wolff, and we all know how Toto is. We all know his character. We all know how picky he is with his issues as well. Giving them a rating, all things considered, of how they went this season, I can't give them higher than a 5 out of 10, man, because it's from their standards, it's been a really underwhelming season. I can't give them a 7. I mean, they haven't won a race. Yes, they got a pole position. No. They haven't won a race.
I'm gonna give them a 6. I'm gonna give them a 6. Even though they didn't win a race, they still got enough points on the board to finish second in the constructors, above Ferrari.
That is an achievement, and you have to obviously applaud them for the efforts as well. But they have to improve, and they have to improve big time.
Definitely, most certainly, they must improve.
We have come to the main event, as Bruce Buffer says in UFC, because we're now in the final team, and a team that needs no introduction, man. Red Bull.
Max Verstappen FC.
You could call Max Verstappen FC, but there are many people that we have to give credit to with Red Bull. Anyhow, the Red Bull, now, before I'm going to let you take the floor on Red Bull, bro, I'm going to read out some stats, because some of these stats are just absolutely insane, okay? So, the RB19, out of 22 races that the F1 calendar had, they won 21 out of 22. I mean, in the season opener, George Russell said that he was confident in saying that Red Bull would win every single race. Everyone was laughing at him. Who's laughing now? Because he came astonishingly close. The only race they didn't win was, as we mentioned before, the Singapore Grand Prix with Senior Sainz taking the helm. And we have to give credit for him because at least he won a race. At least he won a race. The last
Exactly.
time that happened was in 1988 with the McLaren MP44, where there was Alan Prost and Ayrton Senna, and we all know how good, how excellent that team and those drivers
And that car.
and that car was.
And that
But
car.
at the same time, Red Bull have beaten their highest win percentage from McLaren. They have a 95.4%. That is the greatest in the entire history of the sport, which is ridiculous. Sergio Perez won 4 races. Verstappen won 17. I mean, won 17. He not
And
only beats
led about 1,000+ laps, didn't
he
he?
beat his previous season tally of 15. He's now won 54 races, and he's only 26. I mean, if he continues at this rate, he's going to absolutely obliterate Hamilton's record and even get into Schumacher's record. And you've mentioned it now. He has led over 1,000 laps, which is the most ever in a Formula One season. He beats. Not only beats, he absolutely obliterates Vettel's record in 2011, where he led 739 laps. At the same time, it's the highest lap percentage at 75.7%. And Max has remained on top for 39 races in a row. So we're talking Spanish Grand Prix back in 2022. That is outrageous. Out-fucking-rageous. And to conclude with the stats, they have won the title by, get this, 860 points. They've won the title. Mercedes got a 409 points. They've won the title, Red Bull, by 451 points. It's insane stuff. I mean, it's a faultless season, man. Absolutely faultless season. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, that's what happens when you have a well-oiled machine.
A rocket ship.
When you have everything working in harmony, when you have everything working as one. That's what you get. It reminds you of the days of Ferrari, back between the years of 2000 and 2004. It reminds you of Mercedes when the turbo hybrid era started back in 2014 all the way to 2020. When everything gels together, everything works as one.
Yeah.
Just the difference is even more dominant than those two teams combined.
Jesus Christ, man.
By one specific driver as well, Max Verstappen.
Super
who in my opinion, he is one of the best, if not the best driver. Because we say Lewis Hamilton
of what time?
There was one point in the summer where I did say it, and I'll tell you why.
That is why. That's a wise statement, man.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. To win every race, almost every race, barring Singapore, barring some races because of Sergio Perez.
Those Czech Open races, yeah.
Yes, you do need a car. Yes, but you need the talent yourself as the driver to have the pressure, have the mental strength, have the energy. F1 is no joke. They train like athletes. F1 is a sport in itself.
You watch Drive to Survive, you know what the type of training routines these guys go through.
Not just Drive to Survive, but even themselves, how they carry themselves, how they train, how's their shape. Drastically changed throughout the years. And it's getting more and more better. More and more nutrition, more and more.
The demands increase, man.
The demands has really increased, and now this season with 23 races, 24 races, how much?
24 races now, because there's Imola and Shanghai coming up.
In Shanghai, again, returning to Shanghai.
Welcome back after an absence in COVID-19, basically.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So, the fact that Max Verstappen has really won 17 of those races, barring one, and barring 5, 4 of them by Sergio Perez and 1 by Carlos Sainz, that is a huge task. Yes, he has the car. Yes, he has the team. But he needs to drive it.
Yeah.
Because I think if you put someone else in that car, he wouldn't dominate as much as Max Verstappen.
No,
that's my take on it. That's my take on it.
what I love about Max is that every season he just got better and better and better and better, and he only got he's just getting stronger and stronger. And I, I honestly I worry for the rest of the drivers as well because God
The thing
knows
is
where
with
this
Max
guy's gonna
Verstappen,
come
yeah.
for 2024.
The thing is, sorry to interrupt. The thing
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Max Verstappen, you know what the thing with Max Verstappen is, yeah, is that he seems so chill about it. To him,
yeah.
it's like he's completed Formula One. If he wants to
Feels
retire
like
tomorrow, he
that.
can. If he wants to retire tomorrow, he can retire tomorrow.
He ain't liking some of the recent changes as well when it comes to the street circuits, for example. So
I don't think anybody likes the street
don't
circuits.
be too surprised if he hints at an retirement. But right now he isn't hinting at that as well. But
No, of course,
anyway,
of course, of
the
course.
one thing I was so impressed by Max this season is that he's going from strength to strength to strength every single season, and
Yes.
even more so this year as well. And I'm not just giving him as the main character because obviously I'm not going to credit only him as being the main reason why Red Bull have gone so well this season because obviously a rocket ship of a car and his talent. We all know how Max is. He is
Basically, that Red
absolute
Bull is on
fearless.
steroids.
Yeah, it
That
is on
Red Bull is on
steroids. It,
steroids.
it is absolutely on steroids. I mean,
Was on
what
steroids.
steroids? I mean, the fact that you have a rocket ship of a car and you have him who and we all know how talented he is as a driver. We all know how ruthless he is, how fearless he is when taking every single corner, how much of a speed demon he is as a driver as well. The car and him,
He's a
they have a
proper
match made
driver.
in heaven.
He's a proper driver.
He is a proper no
He's a
nonsense Formula One driver in my
he's a
opinion.
proper driver and a half. That's what he is. Max
He's a
Verstappen.
no for me.
Absolutely.
He has to be what he has to go down. If, I mean, he already has to go down as one of the greats with 3 world titles as well. However, I have
Is it because I did say I'm gonna reiterate on this. I did say that
yeah.
he's the best. I did say that he's the best. Is it because of the lack of competition though?
There is lack of competition. Yeah, I mean the rest of the field
Because
they were lacking a lot in the past season as well. However, there are 2 people I have to shout out here. The first is Christian Horner. I mean, his guidance, man, is something else. I mean, he's been in this team for a long time now. He has
since the team first started back in
yeah
'05.
0506. He's been since the beginning, and he's not the most likable guy in the paddock. However,
From David Coulthard and Christian Clean
yeah, he's not the
to
most
Max
like
Verstappen.
yeah he's not the most likable guy out there, but he gets the job done, man, and he gets it, and
He's a serial winner.
he is a
He's a
serious,
serial winner.
serial winner. And
He's a serial
the
winner.
second person I have to call out is Adrian Newey, their engineer, man. This guy has to go down as one of the greatest ever in the sport. He has gone out. This guy, he has pulled out one beast of a car after another with Williams, with McLaren, and now with Red Bull, with when there was Vettel and Webber, and now we have with Verstappen and Checo at the field as well. This guy, he has give him his flowers because he's just so good in his job, man. And he's been
No
here
doubt.
for a very very long time, and I think he will continue to be there in the years to come. We have talked
And
about
while Adrian Newey considers Red Bull as his home, so
yeah, it
I
is
don't
his
think he'll
home.
be moving
Absolutely, it is
anytime
his
soon.
home. One last point, Checo.
Yeah,
What do you think of what do you think of him, man? Because we first saw him as a title contender, but as the season went on, he lost his shape. It looks like, man. Obviously, Verstappen was the main man.
As soon as there were talks of Sergio Perez being the only possible challenger for Max Verstappen for the title, everything went south.
Yeah,
Crashed in Monaco. Crashed in Qatar. Where else? Shock performance after shock performance. The one trait Sergio Perez has, though, is he has the comeback trait. You can
yeah,
start him at the back of the grid and he can come back. Thanks
yeah,
to his tire management skills, race strategy, he has that in his locker,
yeah,
Sergio Perez.
yeah.
But I believe that after this season, I think it's a make or break season as well for Sergio
Yeah,
Perez.
and
And he
I was
might be
actually
replaced. He might be replaced by Carlos Sainz, which I believe if Carlos Sainz does move to Red Bull, to me that's a mistake for Carlos Sainz. But that's a whole other topic in
That's a
itself.
hard one for another day as well. Yeah.
That's a whole other topic in
To
itself.
finish off with Checo for me, in my opinion, for this coming season, he can't repeat the same mistakes as he did with the season as well, because we all know Helmut Marko. We all know how ruthless he is with his decisions. We saw that with Gasly. We saw that with Albon. And we all know that this team, under his helm, under Christian Horner, they take decisions like a flash of lightning like this. So he needs to. I mean, he will hope he will have to max his pace, but that's not obviously the
That's
easiest.
impossible.
That's a bit
Not
impossible.
not impossible, but that's a
Almost
tough
impossible.
ask.
Almost impossible. Almost impossible. But
It's a tough
yeah,
ask.
listen.
I think the key with Sergio Perez is he needs to stay in his lane.
Yeah, he has to. He has to.
That's what he
Absolutely.
has to do,
He has
in my
to.
opinion.
Yeah, he has
For
to.
me, he has to stay in his lane. As soon as he hears any talk of him possibly challenge, he
Yeah.
needs to shut that down immediately. He needs
100%.
to stay in his lane
100%.
and move about his business
100%.
and try and get the best out of his
Yeah.
Red Bull car. That's what he needs to do,
Yes.
in my opinion, Sergio
Absolutely.
Perez. Because if it happens again, his head is out the chopping block.
And I don't
He's
think
out.
he'll get a seat next. I don't think he'll get a seat in the F1 grid. I think, given his age and given his the availability as well, I wouldn't think he would.
How old is Sergio Perez now? How old is he?
He's
How
in
old is
his
Sergio Perez?
30s, I believe. I mean,
Let me see.
he
Sergio.
isn't young. He's 34. He's 34.
Compared to Hamilton and Alonso,
He's 34. I mean,
he's
yeah,
still got quite a few years
yeah,
ahead
absolutely. But yeah, anyway, Red Bull, for me, single-handedly the most dominant car in F1 history, definitely,
No doubt.
easily.
No doubt.
I mean, there's only one outcome for a rating, man. It's a perfect 10. I can't see them other low than a 10. I think, given the car, that car is a beast, man.
Yeah, it's basically on steroids.
Yeah,
Basically,
10,
it was a car on steroids.
you have to come on, bro. They were faultless, man.
I want to give him a 9 because they will win every race.
But listen, it's impossible. Listen, you're talking for someone because when you won the race as well. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. That is it. Give
Okay,
them a
fine, a
10,
10.
bro.
No doubt, a 10.
All right. Yeah,
Fault
just a
precisions.
so that is our review of that season. One last quick we could mention is the only possible breaking news is the exclusion of the Andretti Formula One team, bro. I mean, what are your thoughts on it? Very
Absolutely shocking, man.
Disgrace.
Well, FIA gave him the green light for that. Gave him the green light.
Yeah.
F1 and Liberty Media refused their approach because they said they don't bring value. The Andretti name doesn't bring value to the sport of Formula One. When Andretti has been in the motorsports for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, you mean to tell me that Andretti doesn't bring value, but a team like Haas brings value?
Yeah.
A team like Visa Cash App RB brings value.
Absolutely not.
Andretti is an American team.
Yeah.
Where are they expanding the most? In America. And it's being heard, there's a rumor circulating around that there's a possibility of, well, they have Miami, Austin, and Las Vegas. They have 3 GP in America. 3 Grand Prix in America.
Yeah.
There's a possibility of a 4th. And that 4th is the Chicago GP. So they're expanding in America. And of course, if Chicago is going to be another street circuit, duh. So
as if we have enough street circuits, man. In
of course,
Formula One roster, man. I mean, like,
what's the next step in street circuits? Adding traffic to it?
You might as well make one in Malta here. I mean, for Grand Prix, man.
They go to a Telatalla one more.
It's ridiculous, man. I mean,
no. So they're expanding in America, and they're not adding they don't want to add the Andretti name into the sport of Formula One because it doesn't bring value, and they don't want to have another team that is going to struggle at the back of the grid. But then they have Haas, who finishes plumb last season after season,
and this coming season,
no expectation,
and they do absolutely fuck all, man.
Basically, what they said is a fuck you. That's what they basically said, and for Andretti to get in, one of the teams has to go out.
Absolutely,
Is any
man.
team going to go out?
Because
No.
their excuse is financial, because of financial reasons, and the excuse is also for not because they don't want enough teams in the grid, because 10 for them is enough. I mean, before we used to have like 11, 12, even 13 teams. If you used to watch it back in the 1970s, they used to line up like 25, 26 cars on the
Yeah, but it
for,
ain't
for
that. But it ain't that thing no more because it's
nah,
all
they ain't
about safety.
they ain't, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, bro, I'm noticing that we've reached the 2 hour mark.
2 hours, 6
We
minutes,
could
30
touch on the
seconds.
Andretti one in another episode as well. But yeah, to wrap it up on Andretti, shocking decision. I mean, everyone's in agreement on it that
How can you say that Andretti doesn't bring value, an American team, but you're letting Haas there and you're
yeah,
expending more? You're expending more in America.
yeah, absolutely.
Andretti doesn't bring value. Do
Come on,
these
man.
guys do their research?
They don't, apparently no. They don't do the research enough. I
Jesus
mean, we all know how
fucking
famous Andretti is.
nah. Don't these guys watch IndyCar?
Yeah.
But whatever, whatever, man.
Okay, guys. So that is it. That is the end of our very first episode. Did you enjoy it, dude? I think we had a healthy conversation. I think about
Along the way, for a first episode, can't complain. I mean,
yeah.
super
Okay,
long.
obviously, guys, we're quite new to this thing as well, so bear with us for some technical difficulties along the way as well.
And
So,
saying certain words instead of others.
yeah, exactly as well. But obviously, if you have any questions on how to improve things, guys, let us know. We're still
And any
quite new to
opinions
this
on what
thing.
we said? Any opinions
Yeah,
on what we said?
we
Please
would
let us
like
know.
to hear from you guys on what you
Please
think
let us
about this
know.
episode. What do you want us to tackle in future episodes as well. Our next episode is going to be in 2 weeks' time, which is going to be in the 15th of February. Where by the time we get to know all about the car launches, which that will be the topic of the next episode. If we have obviously other news to cover, we will tackle that with ease as well, guys. Rest assured about
Of
that.
course, we know that the Haas livery has already launched. We
Yes,
do know
We
that.
all know that.
But we're not
Just
going to
today.
mention it today. We're going to leave that for episode 2.
Yeah, because we want to conclude with the rest of the pack as well, and just to give our thoughts as well. I mean, we're 100% sure we're gonna have a lot of banter with some of the designs as well. But anyway, we got that.
I'm waiting on that Visa Cash App Red Bull.
Yeah,
I'm waiting on that. I'm
waiting for the steak one, to be honest.
The steak. I'm waiting on the Visa Cash App one.
You on Visa and I'm on steak. You on Visa and I'm on steak.
I want money.
I just want to see some proper racing, man. That's all I want to see for next season. That's all I want.
Proper.
Yeah.
But it drifted more apart.
No, absolutely, man. All right, guys.
Yeah, but
we wrap
it is what it is.
We wrap it up, bro.
We wrap it up. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys. Hope have a great rest of the week, night, day, wherever you are listening from. And we'll see you.
Hope you have a great weekend, man.
2 weeks time. Night.